Hello, dear students. Very good morning. I hope all of you and your family safe at your home. Please stay home and be ready for board examination. Don't take these video lectures very lightly because all those things which we are going to cover in these video lectures will not be repeated in your classroom, because as you all knows that we are running on our course very regularly, but the thing is also that we will not get a chance to repeat it again in our regular classrooms. It might happen that we can solve your doubts but cannot repeat all these things. So it's my humble request to all of you, please take this video lecture seriously as you are taking our classes regularly in our physical classrooms, and prepare for board examinations. And if you need any of the further help, then please feel free to ask us. We are always ready to help you all. So let us start with chapter number 4th. Till the day we have completed chapter number 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 5th. And with completion of this particular chapter, that is chapter number 4th, organizing, we will cover all the first 5 chapters. That is, first one is nature and scope of management, second one is principles of management, third one is planning, fourth one is organizing, and fifth one is staffing. And after that we will move forward to chapter number 6, that is directing, and chapter number 7, that is controlling. So first of all, as per our tradition, let us discuss about the board's blueprint, that what is board expecting from this particular chapter. In this chapter we will be having 1 mark MCQ, that is MCQ 1 from this chapter, that is organizing. VSQ, that is 1 mark question, will be asked 1 from this particular chapter. Short question, that is question of 2 marks, will be 1. Having internal option, it means you will be asked 2 questions and you have to answer any one of them. And in LQ, that is in long question, we will be having 2 questions from this particular chapter, each one consisting of 3 marks, and total weightage of this particular chapter is 10 marks. I have mentioned again in last lectures, and when we will be in last physical classroom lectures also, that you have to be careful whenever you are writing board examination papers or internal exam papers of our school, because all those things which you are writing in your 10 standards in 5 marks will be asked in 3 marks in 12 standard. It means the content of 5 marks in your 10 standard will be same in long questions, that is in 3 mark question of your board examination. So for 3 marks you have to write at least 1 full page or half page or 1.5 page of that particular topic. If it is GR nature, that is give the reason, then 1 page is enough. But if it is a regular question, like any of the question like steps of the organizing process, or write down about the linear organization with the help of diagram, then you have to write full 1.5 page for getting 3 marks, because it is the board's expectation that students write at least 100 words in 3 mark questions in any of the theoretical papers or in any of the theoretical subjects. So here in this chapter we will be having 2 questions of long term in nature, that is long questions, while one is a short question, that is 1 mark, 1 VSQ and MCQ. In MCQ we have to choose the best one amongst the 4 options which are given in the questions, while the VSQ will be of 10 words or maximum 15 words, that is the 1 line or maximum 3 line of a VSQ. Sometimes it may happen that the VSQ will be of 1 line only, or we can say the 1 word only. Like if it is asked from chapter number 1, that is what is the other name with the middle level management is called, or what is the other name of middle level management, then answer is simply just officers level. And by writing this particular sentence, that is the middle level management is also known as officers level, you will get 1 full mark in MCQ. When VSQ also, if the same question is asked, then you have to write the middle level management is also known as the officers level. While in short question, that is the question of 2 marks, you have to write at least minimum 40 words, that is 5 to 10 lines, 5 to 7 or 10 lines in 2 marks. Sometimes it may happen that they are asking give the reason or explain the statement in 2 marks also. So you have to be careful regarding the board's pattern regarding writing your answers. And as we discussed, that is in long question, you have to write all these things, that is either 1 page or 1.5 page, based on the nature of a question. If it is a give a reason or explain the statement, then 1 page is enough. But if it is a full-fledged question which is discussed in detail in your textbook, then you have to write, because board is expecting between 80 words to 100 words in 3 mark questions, while in 5 mark questions they are expecting at least 150 words, that is 2 page, 2.5 or minimum 3 pages and 5 mark question. As we discussed in our classroom also, that is for 5 marks you have to follow a sequence where if you want to grab a full marks, that is either 5 or 4.5, then you have to write in a sequence. Like first of all you have to write about the introduction. Like if it is asked that what is organizing, and explain the linear organization in detail, then first of all in introduction you have to write down about the organizing, that what is organizing, how it is useful in our routine life. So your introduction will be of the 3 to 5 or 6 lines. Then next one is a second point is meaning, or we can say that is the definition part. If you are knowing the exact name of an author, then write it as a definition. Otherwise, give the heading as a meaning, and you have to write the proper meaning which is given in a textbook. If you are writing a definition, then be careful, because you have to write in a clear-cut manner the definition given by the author as it is in your board papers. But if you are quoting it as a meaning, then you may use some of your own words for explaining the meaning. So it will consist of a 3 or 4 line. So first of all we will be having introduction of 5 or 6 line. Then second one is a meaning or definitions, which will be of a 3 or 4 line. Then third one is a mentioning the points or list out the points. Here one thing you have to keep in your mind is that if you are knowing all the points very carefully, or it is as it is in given in your textbook, then and then mention or list out. If you are missing 1 or 2 or more than 1 or 2 points, then please don't list out, because it will create a negative impact on a paper checker also. Because whenever he go through these points, then he will be able to understand that you are lacking some of the part of the question. So if all the points are ready, or it is all in the proper manner, then and then write. Otherwise skip this point and move forward. Then next, fourth one is a detailed explanation, all those points which you have mentioned or list out in that particular paper. So from my point of view, if you are focusing on a proper sequence, then on the very first page you will be able to write introduction, meaning and list of the points only. So it will cover your first page. Then move forward. If you are explaining even 5 or 6 points among the given points, that is either 9 or 10 points, because in subject OC we are having almost 8 to 10 points in each and every questions, whether it is the nature or importance or characteristics or advantages or limitations or process. Whatever the question it is, will be having at least 8 to 10 points. Out of them you have to mention all that 8 to 10 points in your examination, but you have to explain only 5 or 6 which will be asked or which will be clearly mentioned with your question. So first page is covering only introduction, meaning and list of the points. Then second and third half page or the third full page will cover the explanation part of these questions. And lastly, that is point number 5, is a small conclusion of 2 to 4 lines regarding this question. If you will go through this proper sequence of introduction, meaning or definition, list of the points, explanation of the points, and conclusion, then I bet to you that you will grab a maximum mark, that either 5 or at least 4.5 marks from this particular question of 5 marks. In 3 mark question, that is in LQ also, you may give introduction and conclusion. Not the proper sequence which we are following in 5 marks, but you will be having 3 points, that is introduction, explanation, and lastly conclusion in that also. Because if you will go through the process that is same as in 5 marks, then it will take more time to write that particular answer, and it may happen that at the last you will not be able to complete your paper within a stipulated time period. So this is the proper sequence where MCQ is a correct option selection, while VSQ is a 10 word, 10 to 15 words, that is 2 to 4 lines. SQ, that is short question of 2 marks, will cover 5 to 10 lines. LQ, that is long question of 3 marks, will be answered within 1.5 page, and 5 mark question will be answered at least 3 page or more than that. So you'll get the full marks. So here this chapter is of a total 10 marks. Now first of all, let us discuss what will you learn in this chapter. First of all, introduction about the organizing. As we all knows that it is one of the functions of management. Like first one is a planning, and second one is a organizing itself. Then third one is a staffing, fourth one is a directing, and fifth one is a controlling. And about all these points we have already discussed in chapter number 1. So here we will be having a detailed discussion regarding the introduction, then organizing, their meaning, definition of organizing given by different authors, concept of organizing, that how it is useful or where it is useful, then characteristics of organizing, that which are those which can denote the thing as a organizing. Then second one is steps for the organizing process. So here again we will be having one process which we have to write in a proper manner. In chapter 3 we are having the process of planning. In chapter 4 we will be having the process of organizing. In chapter 5 we are having the process of selection, and chapter 7 we will be having the process of controlling. So amongst the whole chapter OC we will be having 4 main processes. Amongst the organization process is one of the important question. Then we will move forward, that is structure of organization, or we can say the types of organization. These types of organization are based on their needs and the situation of the nature of the business activities. That is linear organization. It is also known as the flat organization. Second one is a functional organization. The linear organization is based on the authority and responsibility, while functional organization is based on the functions that are performed in the organization. Then formal organization, which follows the rules and regulations. Informal organization, which is based on friendship, love, care and affection. And lastly, matrix organization, which one is the one of the newest and modern style of organization in this kind. Then we'll move towards the second point. First point is the organizing, its meaning, steps and types. Second one is a decentralization, which is the part of the organization, but they are having their own total area, that is the concept of decentralization, meaning of decentralization, definition part, importance of decentralization, and lastly, limitation. And last but not least, that is the point number 5th, is delegation of authority. About delegation of authority, we already discussed in chapter number 1st and 2nd some of the part, but here we are going to discuss in detail regarding this delegation of authority, that is meaning of delegation of authority, definition, importance, main elements of delegation of authority. So we'll be having three main elements, that is responsibility, authority, and accountability. So with this point we will conclude this chapter, but let's start with the very first part of the chapter, that is organizing. But before that, first of all, write down the board's blueprint so that you will be able to understand that which are the points is important from your examination point of view and how to write in your exams. Now let us start chapter number 4, organizing and introduction. The goal of the organization is set by planning. So first of all, each and every activity of management is starting with the planning, and planning is the first point or first function of management. The success of management is not only based on planning but also on the effective implementation of planning. It means the work of a management is never completed with the task of planning, as the planning is the intellectual process where we are having proper plan for each and every activity, or we are arranging, or we are deciding who will do the work, when, how, within how much stipulated time period, etc. But when the planning is done, it is not the total success of the organization, because along with the planning, the proper implementation of the planning is also necessary. So planning and implementation of planning is both needed or is very much important for the success of any of the organization. Next, the formal administrative structure that is formed to enable effective implementation of planning is called organizing. Line this statement. Whenever it is asked in 1 mark question, then you have to mention that the formal administrative structure. First of all, formal means the structure which is based on some of the rules and regulations. It means there is a proper chain and proper method of do's and don'ts, and if you are doing very well in the favor of organization, then you will be rewarded, but if you are not following the rules, then you will be punished. So the formal administrative structure, it means each and everything placed with a proper care, and proper administration is there which will be helpful in achievement of the goals of the business very easily. That is formed to enable effective implementation of planning. Here we have already discussed about the implementation of planning. So for the successful implementation of planning, we need some kind of format, or we can say a performa, or we can say a proper structure, and that structure which will be helpful in implementation of a planning is called organizing. Done? Now let us move forward. When more than one persons are working towards the achievement of common goal, the effective organization is essential. I think you have heard this word somewhere else also. Yes, you are right. It is one of the basic definition of management. That is when more than one person, that is 2 or more person, are working towards the achievement of a common goal. The common goal will be of the production or income or sales or anything, or completion of a target. Then the effective organization is essential, because in one hand the organization is the implementation of planning, but on second hand it gives assurance, and it makes sure that each and every activity of the organization will be done in a properly manner, and no work will be left, and there is no repetition of work. So For the achievement of common goal, the effective organization is essential. Next, the success and goal achievement of any unit or work depends on proper division of work, distribution of authority and responsibility, delegation of authority among the employees. So, all these points we already discussed in Henry Fayol's Principles of Management. But then also, the success of any unit or the goal achievement of any unit or work depends on proper division of work. So here in organizing they are favoring in the decentralization process. That is, the division of work means what? It is the first principle of Henry Fayol. That is, division of work means each and every activity of the organization is distributed among the persons who are working in the organization or distributed among the employees who are working in the organization. So, first point for the goal achievement is division of work, when the whole organization is first of all divided into different activities and we are appointing different employees or officers for each and every activity based on their educational qualifications or needs of the organization. After division of work, the distribution of authority and responsibility, which is also the second principle of Henry Fayol, that is, only authority or only responsibility will never be result into success. So, when you are dividing the work among the employees, you should give them authority along with responsibility to completing a particular task. And when once you are awarding them with the responsibility and authority, then they will be able to complete their task within a stipulated time period. So after division of work, the second one is a distribution of authority and responsibility. Then third one is the delegation of authority among the employees. The delegation of authority is also one of the point of distribution of authority and responsibility. But here the main focus is on delegation of authority, because the organizing itself is the implementation of a work, and implementation of a work will not be happen without any authority providing. Next, the objective which are determined at the time of formation of organizing process are methodically applied, and for the same organizing is inevitable. It means the objective which are determined at the time of formation of organizing process. It means the objectives or the goals which we have decided when we have started the company or during the planning process. The determine, because the first point in the planning process is determining the objectives. So whenever any of the business activity is carried out, the objective which are determined at the time of formation of organization process are methodically applied, and for the same organizing is inevitable. Organizing is one of the structure on which the implementation process is based. So the implementation is done according to the planning, and planning is done according to the objective. So the objective of planning and organizing is same, because both of these elements are working for the success of this objective or achievement of this objective. So the objective determined at the time of formation of organizing process, it means the objective which we have decided while the planning process are methodically applied, so same way as intended, and for the same organizing is inevitable. It means without organizing, the implementation of a particular task or planning will not take place, and the organization will not be succeed in its goal. Hence it is said that planning is the brain of business enterprise, coordination is the soul, and organization is his body. Here, if you are having an old textbook, then this statement will be different. But you have to write this one because it is given in a proper sequence, that the planning is the brain of business enterprise, because planning is an intellectual process and it makes the plan for different business activities, while coordination is solved because they are focusing on the orders given by the planning, or they are helpful in making the plan according to the need of the organization, while organization is body which takes the orders from the brain and implement these orders as per the need of the organization, or we can say in a proper manner. Line this statement because it will be asked in either MCQ or in 1 mark, that is, the planning is the brain of business enterprise, coordination is the soul, and organization is its body. Done? Now let us move forward to the meaning. Meaning, in general words, the structure formed in order to enable delegation of authority and responsibility towards the people actively engaged for common goal is organizing. Now, consider one thing, that there is a one organization in which almost 100 people or employees are working. Now, if amongst them there is no proper sequence or no proper structure is formed for how they are dealing with each other, means how they are behaving with each other, what is the relationship amongst them, who will give orders to them, who will obey the orders, who is the superior, who is the subordinate, who will undertake which activity, how the each and everything, that is each and every functions of the organization will be undertaken, etc., etc., then there is no chance of the success of organization, or we can say the organization will not succeed in any of the form, because there is no proper sequence or structure is formed regarding the organizing, or we can say the goal achievement. So here meaning suggests that in general words, or we can say in layman's language, the structure formed in order to enable delegation of authority. So first of all, we will be having the proper structure, like top authorities, middle authorities, and bottom level managers or bottom level authorities. Then proper structure in order to enable delegation of authority and responsibility. It means the top level is the supreme level of the organization, so there will be the highest authority and responsibility amongst them. But as we have seen in the first lecture, that it is a pyramid type of structure where there is a very less people who are engaging in the top level of management. But the middle level is somewhat broader than the top level, where different kind of authorities and functional level managers are there, like marketing manager, human resource manager, production manager, and they will get order and instruction from a top level manager, but they are having their own authority and responsibility. So in structure, we are having the first step as a top level management, while second step is the middle level management, and at the bottom step there are supervisors, foremen, and jobbers are there, and which is the broadest among all these three levels of management, because there are more people, more number of people who are engaged in the bottom level management. Now, by these three levels, we can distribute the authority and responsibility according to their job position or their qualification or their responsibility. So now I think you will be able to understand the meaning of organizing, like the structure formed in order to enable. So this structure is made by the top level authority according to the needs, because here in this particular chapter we are going to discuss about the 5 different formats of the organizing, that is linear organizing, functional, formal, informal, and matrix. Along with that, in real life, totally there are 15 to 20 types of organizations are there who are working in a real life, and if we are making some kind of modifications in them, then it may happen that we will be having 100 types of different organizational structure which will be used by different organization according to their needs and demand. So here it is the proper structure which is formed to enable organization. so that they can delegate authority and responsibility towards the people who are actively engaged for common goal is called organizing. So now if there is a proper structure that out of that 100 people 10% are rewarded as a board of the directors and they are the promoters and they will be at the top level, 20 people that is the middle level management and they will be posted on the middle level, that is they means the total functions are divided among them, like some of them will be having the marketing management area or department, or some of them are in the human resource department, etc., etc. And now all that 70% amongst them 20 people are means recruited as a supervisor, jobbers and foremen, and all other 50 are worker who will take care of each and every physical activity. So now we will be having a proper functional structure from top level to bottom level, and according to that there is a proper delegation of authority and responsibility is towards these people who are actively engaged for the common goal, that is achievement of a goal. So we conclude our session over here today. Today we have discussed about the blueprint. Then I have given you the instruction regarding how to write in your examination. Then what will you learn in this chapter, and introduction and meaning. From next lecture onwards we will be discussing about the definitions, that is the definition of Chester R. Bernard, Louis Allen, and then we will move forward the concept and characteristics of the organizing. Thank you very much, class.